Hey everyone, it's Desiree. I am here making a book. I love it when we can make different items with dies and our stash. I am featuring Scrappy Tails, and I am going to be using Sabrina's A7 book pop-up die. This is a great die. And then the A7 I spelled this wrong, so I think it's SpellBook cover plate. And also the Witches Layer die set. This is a huge die set, so versatile. And then the Dancing Witches. I'm just loving the Dancing Witches. The cat. Look at the cat. The cat kills me. Oh my goodness. All of these products will be used. Now, I'm only going to be using portion of the Witches Layer. So I'm using the dress form, the broom, the shoes, I forget, the cobwebs maybe, the one cat that looks like it's laying on a shelf. So going to be mixing and matching. Let's start out by creating our book. In the die set, you have this panel that is scored, and it cuts this piece. So you want to make sure that you die cut this 4 times. You're going to keep 2, the original size that it is, and then the other one, this is a 5x7 book, basically. A little bit larger, actually. So you want to make sure that you have 2 long sides and 2 short sides for the top and the bottom. I cut mine to measure 4 5/8 on the top, 4 5/8 on the bottom, and then I kept it to the full size on the left and the right. And when I did that, that fills the area completely, especially from side to side. All right, because I really wanted this to go almost from edge to edge. But you can make the inside of your book any size you want when it comes to the accordion, because that's what you're creating. You're creating this accordion frame that sits on the one side. Now you can, I showed this previously, I think about a month and a half ago, where I actually showed you how you could make this double accordion on each side, and you would just place your 2 layers together. The other is your cover. So your cover is the front and the back, and then it has these 2 areas that are scored. You want to line those up with each other, and I use double-sided tape to do that. Now we're going to create our accordion. So you're going to take these mountains and valleys and wiggle them together. And you want to have, for me, double-sided tape works the best for this because it is quick grabbing. The moment you get these in there, and they lock, they actually, as you wiggle them together, they actually lock together. They won't go together anymore. And you can lift up the one side and put down your double-sided piece of tape, and boom, there's one corner already together. And you're going to do the same thing at all 4 corners. So here I'm putting down my double-sided tape, and now I'm setting my other piece in place and folding them over. Your last piece, we're going to do the same thing. The other reason why I like to use double-sided tape, and I like to use a strong double-sided tape. So that's either score tape, U-line double-sided tape is the strongest. It is awesome. It's also unforgiving. Once it's there, it's there. But using a tape runner or an ATG, to me, it's just not strong enough. So you really want to make sure that you have a strong tape. You can use liquid glue as well. What I would suggest is do 1 corner at a time, and once you get the 1 corner together, get a set of reverse tweezers and let it hold there until it's secured. I mean, liquid adhesive is also the best as well, but it just takes a little bit to grab a hold. Now that I've got the frame together, we're going to get this set into place. And it is doing exactly what I wanted it to do. I've got that right edge right along the edge of my book. I could have cut the top and the bottom accordions a little bit smaller so that they weren't right up onto that score line. But that's okay. This is paper, and we can make it work because paper will bend. Yes, and that's what we're going to do. So now I'm just coming in with more double-sided tape along my frame, and we're going to get this set in place as well. I'm going to remove the release paper. And then add a little bit of wet glue. By adding wet glue to your double-sided tape, you're going to get a stronger bond, but you also get wiggle room. The double-sided tape won't adhere yet until you really push it down. Once I know I had this in place, I'm going to come in with my paper creaser and just go along that bottom edge to make sure excuse me, that the double-sided tape has come through that liquid adhesive and is going to stay in place. Now we're going to have some fun with the book. We are going to go to town with mixed media for the book. I'm adding a little bit of, this is like a gold paste, wax paste. I forget what it's called. Yes. Totally forget what it's called. And I'm just putting a little bit on my finger and just rubbing around the edges of the accordion. And I'm now going to go around the edge of the book itself to make it look like this book is gold leafed. And then going to come in a little bit more on the inside so that we can see this book. So this is kind of the way that I'm aging this spell book, because that's what we're kind of creating. And then we're going to go up and down the spine to add that as well. But I wanted this to look old and rustic for the book. I'm going to close that up, clean my hands. Now we're going to go to town with sprays. So I dug into my stash and I found one of the mica sprays, and this is called Hocus Pocus. And just because it's on black cardstock, you will see this mica spray. I'm also, it's not a blizzard, but yeah, she's coming in. So we are going to come in with all kinds of white splatter, and we are just going to town on that. And I'm doing it while the mica spray is still wet, because some of them will be white, some of them will go to purple, some of them they'll change colors. Taking this green piece, this is the sentiment cloud or shadow, however you want to put that. And I'm using the mica spray for that, and I'm adding more splatters to that. Now, something that I noticed while I was doing this, yep, only me. Everybody else used the mica sprays. They have no issues. Everything's going well. For some reason, the mica sprays on this black cardstock would not dry. You saw how much it absorbed when it hit the lime green cardstock. It went right into it and it dried. For some reason, and I think I know the reason, it would not on this black cardstock. Some areas it did. Most areas it didn't. So lots of spark. I'm even angling my brush because I want it to go up into the accordion with this. I have white splatters all over my desk. Yeah, the splatter box did not help. The black cardstock is the Recollections 110 black cardstock. It is awesome. paper. It really is. But it also has, and it's just the black. It's not the white or any of the other colors. The black is very smooth. It's almost like there's a coating on this cardstock. So some of this mica spray was not absorbing into the cardstock. We don't stop there. We keep going. I pulled out my clear embossing powder and just covered the entire book. Now, I have my overhead fan, so that's why you're seeing the powder going all over the place. Yes, when you are creating, try not to have a fan on. This solved the issue of this paint not drying. I just trapped it. I just trapped it within this heat embossed clear powder, and I was able to continue to work. But I did that to the outside and the inside. And it gave a great look. So, happy accident. It's always a happy accident, right? So let's start on our cover. I'm using the SpellBook cover plate. I've die cut the outer plate, which is absolutely gorgeous, twice from craft cardstock. And I've also die cut the words that are with this. And they are brews, charms, and elixirs. Those are the words, the sentiment that I'm putting to the front. And I die cut those a couple times as well. I'm putting the cauldron to the front. I've thought about putting it to the inside to make it look like the witches were dancing around that, but I wanted that to be on the outside. I die cut that a couple times as well, and now we're just going to layer all of our pieces up. We have a crescent moon. We have all of our fizzies that are going to come from our potion that's going on in our cauldron. And now I'm going to double layer our frame. Once I have this double layered, I'm going to come in with some black soot and we're going to pounce it. I'm going to use my pouncers. I'm really liking my pouncers. I guess for Halloween, it's a pouncer effect that we're looking at because, yeah, I just really like them. Always take notice that when it comes to a frame and when you're layering, it may go together one way. And this one is that way. At least I found it to go better this way. And that's why liquid glue is great. You have those few seconds until you push it all together to make those adjustments. We're going to get this set onto the front of our book. Now, what's also great with the heat embossing we did and the spraying of the mica and the gold wax that we put around, it really aged the book, which is what I love. Absolutely love it. So this book has been around for centuries in the family. Absolutely. For the center portion, so here I am, I'm pouncing the black. I don't want a smooth look to this. I just wanted to tone down that craft cardstock. I'm now going to layer up our center medallion. So I die cut it multiple times, 4 times from black cardstock. Now also, and I die cut it once from iridescent mirror cardstock because I wanted that effect. Now I was getting glue and paint that was on my hands all over the place on this, but I found a really cool, I was doing a lot of different things on this, but I had a ball with it. Saw that when you go to clean off your mirror cardstock, you just want to use just a damp cloth. Yeah. Don't use a cloth that has alcohol on it. Yes, rubbing alcohol, because that's what it does. I really liked the effect though. It's not so mirror-ish and it looks aged. So if you want to age your mirror cardstock, just a dab of rubbing alcohol on your towel. Don't think that it's water, because it's not. And I have it clearly labeled alcohol. Yep. The mistake I did was I put my rubbing alcohol in a blue spray bottle and I put my water in a green spray bottle. So I should have reversed it. Yeah, you know, learn from my happy accidents. I took the centerpiece and die cut that 5 times as well, with the top layer being in craft as well. I used black cardstock for all my layers so that when you look at it from the side, you're just seeing that black. It's blending into the book. I did also pounce that with some black soot, distress ink, and now we're just getting our cauldron put together as well. Just like in the previous Scrappy Tails video that I had shown, I am going to also pull in my white pigment ink so that I can get this around the cauldron, just so that it has that little bit of highlight. Instead of using, now you can always just use your white gel pen and just add lines for your highlight. I just didn't want to do that. Now, if you don't have a white ink pad, you can take your white gel pen, if that's what you have, and put that along the edge and rub it with your finger, or put it on your finger and rub it onto your piece as well and dab it. So there's always ways, if you don't have a white ink pad, to get that same effect. You could also use white acrylic paint, white watercolor, whatever you have. And if it's white, it'll work. I'm pulling in the fuzzies, and I die cut those from iridescent sparkle cardstock. Have those coming from the top, and now I'm just placing our 3 words, charms, brews, and elixirs, along underneath the cauldron, which will kind of ground that as well. And then I have a cat that I'm going to set at the top, and I do pounce that with a little bit of white pigment ink as well, also with the words. We're going to add a spider to the one side. So we have this die cut string, and then we're going to place the spider down from that off to the side, and adding a little bit of the black soot onto that as well. We're going to bring in this gold leaf and just place that down along the bottom corner. So our cover is all set. So our cover's done. Now it's time to move to the inside. So even on this cardstock, it just wasn't drying. So I don't know if I sprayed too much. I hit it once, or twice on this one, 2 or 3 times, just to make sure that it was covered. So I'm sure it is operator error. But I do enjoy these pearlescent mica sprays. I think they add a lot. Because I did this on lime green cardstock, it's going to stand out. You have this different shade of purple for the inside of the card. So here are all the pieces that we will be working with. I wanted to make sure that certain elements just really stood out from this. And that is the pumpkins, of course, the witches, and then a few other elements. I don't want everything to be so bright. Again, to me, this is an aged spell book. So very dark, very eerie, but fun at the same time. I'm layering up the broom, created double layers on that. I took the SpellBook, so this is a layering type die as always, and that centerpiece, when I die cut it, I added VersaFine ink to it, Versamark ink, clear, and then I heat embossed it. So you see the words SpellBook and a little bit of splatter of gold on that. And then I used a scrap of one of my ink smushing panels that I've created, and then I put that up onto black cardstock so that the pages are black. I'm building the dress form with the adorable witch's outfit. And then we're just going to add even more layers. What I'm also going to pull out too, now you can use, glitter cardstock if you have that. Maybe you don't. Another alternative to create your own type of glitter cardstock is to use glitter pens. Arteza has a whole set of them. I believe they still have them. I've had them in my stash and I'm like, oh, okay. So let's use these. Again, let's use what we have. And I'm just adding all kinds of different colors. They do show up on black cardstock. They won't be as vibrant as they are on white, but the colors do show. So I'm just filling in with my stripes, and that's because I lost some of my die cuts that I did. Yes. So, yeah. I'm adding another purple shade to the top of the corset part, and just like that, I have a piece that looks like a piece of glitter cardstock by just using those. So again, you can get effects that people use if you don't want to stock up on glitter cardstock or something like that. You could go to a glitter pen. You could add glitter to, maybe you have a re-inker. You could add a little bit, put a little bit of the re-inker down onto your block, add a little bit of glitter to that, and then use a paintbrush to apply that. So there's different ways that we can DIY the look of glitter paper. It's always fun to come up with things. Again, my chemistry teacher said we need to get you out of this class. You're too creative and just like to mix things. Well, there were some things I shouldn't have mixed. So, but give it a try. We have these stashes. We can get creative with the items that we already have. I'm working on the boots now, so these are really cool black stiletto boots with some purple cardstock going up, or glitter cardstock going up around them. I die cut it 2 times to make it look like a pair of boots and just layering them together, and they're going to sit by the dress form. I'm using the cat from the Witch's Lair, and I'm also using one of the book dies, or no, it's the bar that goes across the door, and I'm making that resemble a shelf, and the cat's going to be laying on top of that, because that's what my cat looks like when he lays down. He goes completely flat. I'm not quite sure how he does that because he's a big guy. Max is big. But he goes completely flat. It's really funny looking. On to the witches. So I die cut one from black cardstock. I had some scraps there. And then I die cut it from a colored cardstock because we are going to add our inks and other items to give the illusion of the dress and so forth. So we're going to get those together. So I have one, yes, in purple, more purple. Can you tell there's a lot of purple going on here? Yep. Can you tell I love purple? Yep. And then the other one's going to have an orange outfit. We've pulled in some scraps of green and gold glitter cardstock, or like an orangey cardstock, and a purple glitter cardstock. And we're going to mix and match those colors. And again, we're pouncing the colors on It helps with the age look. Again, not going for that perfect blend. I want this to look worn. I want it to look like it's been around for a long time for these pieces. I pulled in, I was going to add some colors to the hair, to just use my alcohol markers to add some colors. So did not like it. So I do go over that hair with just a dark alcohol marker just to make it all brown. It just didn't look right to me. It just did not. So we cover it up. There's always a way to cover up and make it a happy accident. Absolutely, we can do that. And that's what I was doing here. Going back and forth between the witches, getting those together, and the sentiment. Again, I have everything in my containers. There's some small pieces there, so I don't want to lose them. I do. So now I'm just layering up the sentiment, double, double, toil, and trouble. And we're going to get that onto our panel just above the dress form. And we're going to get that set in place. And what's really cool, I backed it with the panel that this will sit on, the cloud, shadow, whatever you want to call it. So when you look at it on the side, I use lime green. So you'll see this pop of lime green coming up from that. I'm going to work on the and get that. I did die cut this twice. Again, adding more dimension to the piece. And I had other items die cut. I had more books. I had more vases die cut. But I'm just going to go with a black vase. And you can see I added more of that white pigment. Just pounced it on there. Again, I want this to blend kind of into the background. I want the focal points to be the witches and the ghosts and the spell book itself. So I got a little confident there, dumped everything out. Now we're going to add the shoes, the legs, and the brooms that are in their hand. And I also grabbed some of the pumpkins from our previous project earlier this month. They were still sitting there. I hadn't put them in the container yet. So why not? Let's fill in our space. I chose lime green for their stockings. And the witch with the purple dress will have the orange glitter hat and shoes. And the witch with the orange will have the purple. I lost those little pieces, so I'm going to come in with a black fine liner and now a white gel to create the stocking stripes. Yep. I was not going to die cut those again. I always lose these little pieces. I'm so sorry, Sabrina. But I do. I lose them, even though I'm really careful. I unload them on top of my plastic containers, but somehow I just... Yeah. They just move. They just move. I love this cat. The cat dancing is just awesome. We're going to add, of course, white pigment because he's going to sit right in the front of the accordion. The witches are going to be on each side in the accordion at different levels. We're going to get our brooms set in place. And to decorate the brooms, I am going to pull in some of those glitter pens that I have. So we're going to add the last part of the brooms. And here's where I decide, yeah, don't like that hair color. So we are just going to cover it. Completely. And then I'm just going around the edges as well with the brush tip so that you don't see that yellow piece. So now we have our witches done. And then our cat is just going to sit right in the center. Now, because this is so dark, because there's just so much darkness and we just have these pops, the camera's picking up everything, but the cat, you kind of lose the cat just a little bit. But he is there, and in real life, you can really see him. The other witch is going to go to the other side, but a little bit more towards the front. And we're going to push down on the accordion. We're going to get the makeshift bookshelf with the sleeping Max. We're going to call him Max because it's what my cat looks like when he sleeps. And then we have the vase that's black as well, but with some white pigment ink. I do move this SpellBook. So before it completely dried, I made sure I pulled that out. And I'm going to set that into that corner there. The broom's going to go over the corner. And also from the other project that we did, I'll be pulling in some ghosts. So that's going to help lighten this area up as well. We're going to set our pieces on the left. I'm making sure that it closes, nothing's hindering anything, because I have a tendency to do that. That's what I do. But I really love the look. It looks mystical, magical. It looks like a potion exploded. That they created. Here's where I grab the ghosts. I put one in the back, on the back panel. And then I have this one here. And I'm going to wrap him around the broom so he's coming from behind. And then there are those pumpkins. We're going to place those along the bottom as well. Not going to worry about not having black cardstock in the back because it's already so dark. So here you can see all of these different colors just intertwining. Use the clear embossing just to set this mica powder. I know it's operator error. There's nothing wrong with these sprays. I think it was just the slickness of the cardstock, and I probably did put too much down. But really enjoyed this project. I hope you did too. This is a lot of fun. Just formed that cover around the accordion a little bit, and then this will look great with a deep purple wrap going around it. And it'll make a great piece for home decor for your recipient. Hope you enjoyed this. All the products that I used will be listed down below if you wanted to check them out. Please, love for you to subscribe. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, hit the bell. Hopefully you're notified so that you know when the next video is ready for you to watch. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I hope you enjoy your time in your crafty space creating your art. Just remember to enjoy the process, and most of all, always remember, be creative in everything you do every day. Take care. I will talk to you in the next one, and stay safe.